they go 1-0 up, they're going to boo. They're going to boo their own team.
Come on, give us 10, 15 goals.
I do agree with that idea of you'd rather put your team first, whereas Spurs had to go and get a result at Old Trafford. Spurs went 1-0 up. If you can remember Les Ferdinand's face, he remembered what he had done.
You'll hear about that for the next 20 years.
And Arsenal will go on and on about it, how you Spurs fans helped them to win.
Premier League conspiracy. We are in the final week of the Premier League season, and there has been so much drama, so many talking points, particularly around match fixing, match throwing. Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham in the mix. We are going to get through all this conspiracy today and debate all of these topics. Do fans actually want their team to lose? Let's get straight into it. I mean, we've got to answer the obvious question because we've done a poll on Insta and the results are still mixed. Should Spurs fans genuinely want them to lose a game of football just so that Arsenal don't win the title? Jamie, you're obviously involved in this. City are the subjects. Where do you stand on this?
Of course Spurs should want to lose. Of course, come on. Give us 10, 15 goals. Make sure the goal difference doesn't matter on the final day, you know? You know, what if it's 15-0, I don't think Arsenal are going to come back from the goal difference, so we can even draw against West Ham on the final day. It's a perfect scenario, isn't it? No, I'm joking, obviously. It's such a weird scenario because I do understand both points. How can you want your team to lose? But if you're possibly playing for nothing, because we're doing this before Villa play Liverpool and Villa win, Spurs can't get Champions League football. They could fall out of 5th place, but they are playing Sheffield United on the final day, so they should win that, really. So that should just cement them being in 5th place. So if you're playing for nothing, why does it matter that you lose? Because if you win, you actually gain absolutely nothing. And if you lose, you gain intolerable fans. That's not just Arsenal fan TV, because let's be honest, apart from me around our area, there's not many City fans, is there? Where there is a lot more Arsenal fans. And Spurs fans will know Arsenal. And Arsenal will go on and on about it, how you Spurs fans helped them to win the league. And I think just the presence of sort of Arsenal fan TV being, or DR Sports with, what is it, Robbie that does it, is the ones that's going to annoy the most people, because that's the most vocal one, and that's why people are saying Arsenal fans are the most intolerable out of the league. I think it is just because they're at the top. I think other fans can be as bad. But yeah, it's such a weird scenario. I obviously hope, they throw it, they lie down, let us score 15, as I was saying before, just the safety in numbers. But I just don't see it at the same time as well. And it'll be a weird atmosphere tomorrow when I go.
Well,
And
this is the thing, and this is really the topic of the debate. So you've seen it on socials, and you don't know whether people are joking, but a lot of Spurs fans or accounts have said if they go 1-0 up, they're going to boo. They're going to boo their own team for winning the game against the champions of the world, the champions of Europe. That is absolutely mental. Now, look, we don't know whether they're serious.
I don't think they're going to boo. I think booing might take it a bit too far, but I don't think if they do score, they're not going to celebrate as much as what they normally would. Because let's be honest, if we were in the title race with Liverpool, Spurs fans wouldn't care who would win the league.
Yeah.
So then they'd want to win just to take the piss out of City fans who are next to them in the stadium. So it's kind of a weird sort of scenario in that. I don't think they'll ever boo, and I disagree if they did try and boo. But I understand, like I said, I understand them not wanting to win at the same time. So maybe they celebrate us scoring, but I think that's even too far. It's kind of just a mute mellow point of just going, okay, fine, we lost.
I honestly believe they will cheer if you score. But yeah, look, Reece, you're obviously in the middle of this. You've been vocal about Villa, the Villa loss for Arsenal being the key point. But on this debate of Spurs fans not wanting their team to win, where do you stand on it?
I don't blame them, really. I think it's just what the rivalry is. Look, they'll laugh and joke about it. Obviously, I think they'd want to show an element of a performance, but realistically, they're not going to want to win. This, we have to be blunt. Yes, they have something to play for, but they never thought they'd get top 4 in the first place before the season started, so they're happy with where they are. So realistically, they're going to have that relaxed mindset. I understand that Postecoglou has come out and said differently, but I do think he has to say that. He is a guy that does love. He's not a crowd like a panderer, but he does have that vibe about him, and I think he's just trying to do it to keep obviously that professional element to it, which is the right thing to do. But as I said, Arsenal had their chance and lost at home to Villa, so it doesn't really matter what happens on Tuesday. In my opinion, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And Arsenal shouldn't have to be complaining about that when I don't think Arsenal fans would want the favour returned. If this was the other way around. We wanted this happen. We had a similar situation in 2001 where Spurs had to go and get a result at Old Trafford. Spurs went 1-0 up. If you can remember Les Ferdinand's face, he remembered what he had done. And they lost 2-1. However, in that summer, we then took Sol Campbell for free. So you look at those and think, if anything comes up, you could set yourself up for quite a big fall later on. But it doesn't matter. It's all a bit of harmless fun as a rivalry. City, even if they win, they deserve to win it at the end of the day.
Thank you so much for watching so far. I will be very quick in this. All we ask is, could you hit that subscribe button for us? It helps us more than you know. We're trying to grow the channel. If you could really help us out, that'd be great. Right, back to the video.
Yeah. And you've seen good bands today. For those who have missed it, obviously of the kites from Spurs doing kites after training, you got to love that. Pure mockery of the whole situation, of course, but you got to love that stuff. With obviously, again, we've said it already. We're filming this before the Villa game kicks off, so the situation could change. But let's assume that Spurs could mathematically still get Champions League football. Surely, rivalry and everything aside, surely Spurs fans are going to want. You'd rather your team get in the Champions League. Are you willing to suffer not getting the Champions League to get in Europa just to see your rival suffer?
I don't think Spurs fans will care about that. Like I said, they weren't expecting it in the first place. Daniel Levy, who is a Spurs fan, I think he would want the 4th spot because he would look at that and go, well, those extra millions make a difference in your transfer market. And in a way, you do hamper your transfer plans because it could make a difference type of player you get in. But like I said, I think they didn't expect this top 4, so I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah. And yeah, 100%. From Levy's perspective, without question, he won't care. He'll be looking at the numbers. He'll be going, Champions League gives us more money.
At the end of the day, I think it's kind of what should matter more to you, how well you do in your team or how well your rivals do. And at the end of the day, you should be supporting your team more. It's like, but I do remember seeing a clip from years ago when Arsenal were in Europa, Spurs were in the Champions League, and I think it was DT was asked, and he said, if just for Arsenal to win Europa, but Spurs win Champions League, he went, or both teams lose, he said lose. He's like, I can't have Spurs winning the Champions League before Arsenal in that aspect.
I'd agree with that.
It just goes to show a mentality thing, doesn't it? At the end of the day, Spurs were doing much better at the time. Let's put that into perspective. I remember, was it that same season? I think Real Madrid won the Champions League. Atletico won the league. Atletico fans were buzzing. I know the rivalry is different, but they've won something. Yes, you've been trumped by a better trophy by your rivals, but at least you've got something. It's better to win something than nothing. Even though I think it is funny, I do agree with that idea of you'd rather put your team first. And I think an example we can give is Man United yesterday. The fans have accepted where they are at this moment in time. At the end of the day, City win it, they get it. And I think they're more concerned about where their situation is. They had to probably win yesterday to save something, to save some face. Granted, I think if it was Liverpool or Leeds, the attitude would have been different, and I can understand that. But yeah, I think you do want to put yourself first. You have a choice: win trophies. You win trophies together, which, by the way, the area will benefit if both teams are successful. Do you both win trophies together, or do you win nothing together?
No, I think
I'd
the
rather-
Madrid example is different though,
because they
that's like
both
two
won
separate.
something.
But that's
Whereas
as in it's
whereas
different trophies.
Spurs can't win anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this
So
is
I think it's more in their sort of eyes, in that argument I was saying with the Europa League and Champions League. I'm just saying an example that Arsenal fans are the same in the way of going, I don't want Spurs to do well at the detriment to Arsenal.
yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what Spurs fans are doing in this case. And, you know, they've already got a few of them got their City shirts out that they've bought probably from Sports Direct and places like that. You've got their song, they've got in a bar singing I'm City till July. I don't know why it's all the way in July, to be honest. The season ends in May. But they want to give us a few extra months to support us in pre-season. Thank you very much. I think at the end of the day, it's all good fun saying all this stuff. But really, what for you both watching your side, what determines your mood? City, Arsenal, Chelsea winning, or for your case, both your cases, Spurs losing, and for me, United losing. It's my team winning. If my team lose, okay, they're sort of like it can be better that United lose by more, for example. But at the end of the day, I'm still annoyed that City would have lost. So that's how I kind of see it at the end, sort of.
Yeah. If I think I'm trying to think of this because I'm genuine on the fence, but the more I'm saying, the more we're talking, I think if I was honestly a Spurs fan, I would probably say you want to lose like 1-0 and you want to put up a good fight, or lose like 4-3 in a
don't get embarrassed, I guess.
Yeah, put up a good fight. City nick a late winner. Everyone's a winner. Do you know what I mean?
Not late.
The issue with season heavily opens up a can of worms that I think clubs don't want. I'm not sure what the rules are. Could the FA force them to replay that game? And I think if you have to replay it, you're going to have to put more of an effort in because it just gets worse and worse, or it could lead to repercussions, right? You know, we've seen incidences where things like this have happened before. I think West Germany and Austria in the 1982 World Cup, I think it benefited both sides. I think West Germany just needed a win, and Austria were.
It was something like a 1-0 win meant both teams went through.
West Germany went on the attack,
scored, and then they just
10 minutes, and they just passed it around all game, which opened up a lot of issues. Neither team were punished in the end, but it's things like that. If the league can make you replay it, especially when the season's over, do you really want that, or could it lead to a points deduction for both? You don't know.
Yeah.
Add it
onto our charges. It's fine.
Yeah,
we've got enough. We've got enough. Just give us a few more. It's fine. We can handle it. We got the court date set. We'll just add it on. Just add it onto the agenda. We'll be fine.
I wouldn't be shocked if City go 1-0 up a couple of minutes in and it becomes a bit of a pass it around.
The thing is, though, I just want to put the scenario into this sort of bit. If City go 3-0 up at half time, Arsenal fans will flood to Twitter. It's fixed. It's corruption. Blah blah blah. Remember, Arsenal went 3-0 up at half time at Spurs. There's all this talk of match fixing. Spurs will throw in the towel. Blah blah blah. City could go and turn them over on a normal day. Spurs could be top of the league, wanting to win the title, and City could turn up there and turn them over. It's not that unusual if City. I know City don't score much at this ground. You know, we only scored one, and that was this year in the FA Cup. But it's sort of like it's not surprising if City go and batter someone, and that's something that I think people need to really understand if they're truly believing within this corruption, throwing the towel stuff. If you're actually believing it, chill out, because City could do. City won 4-0 against Fulham. There wasn't really actual corruption people involved in that, you know, like that's just a normal day that City can do that to teams.
Yeah,
so I think it'll be watching how Spurs perform, I think, is the big issue. I think everyone knows City are a good side. I think if you see players not making an effort, you know, seeing players that might have a touch, you know, do you know what I mean? You've got to see signs of life, which I think is what You will
Thing
see.
is, with that, I do agree. But we're talking about football fans, the most fickle bunch, and we're talking about social media, right? So let's just give a few examples of lately. If I was watching it with the same context of this game, if I was watching Spurs against Chelsea the other week, I'd have said they just bowed down and did nothing and gave us the game. I would have said the same thing against Liverpool when they lost. I would have said the same thing in the first half against Arsenal. And I think, Jamie, you touching it, like, this is a big part of the debate we're missing here. And Spurs fans have kind of got a bit of a get out of jail free card because Spurs are terrible. Spurs aren't, like, obviously they're fifth, whatever, but lately their performances have been absolutely terrible. So, like, the bottom line is City are in the form of their lives, about to win the league. Spurs have been terrible lately. It's not that surprising. The only thing going in Spurs' favour is City's terrible record at that stadium. But other than that, on form, like, Spurs are in relegation form in the last 5 games. So, like, if you're a bookie predicting this game, like, you're going to probably say 3-0 City anyway. So you've got to look at the wider thing. Like, City will win this game, in my opinion. I will get on to our specific predictions, but Spurs haven't been at it. City have. So match fixing and everything aside, City should be winning this game.
I think what Spurs fans will probably be relieved with is when they saw the fixture list and their last 3 games were Burnley, City, and I know this was rearranged, wasn't it? But Burnley, and Sheffield United in there as well. With the form they were in, they knew they could bank on beating either Burnley or Sheffield United. If they had lost to Burnley on the weekend, there is that element of pressure of, oh God, we can't have our season completely water. Because if they end the season on just losses, that's not good. It's not a good momentum thing. It's nothing. But now that they've got that pressure off, this is where the City game comes into that threshold, doesn't it? Of, well, does it matter now? Maybe attitudes would have been different if they'd lost all their games going into this, thinking, oh my God, we've got 1 home game left here. Like, this isn't looking good. I wouldn't be shocked if they, if that's how some of them see it. And I do think it has this game rearranged for now has been a godsend for them. Probably if this was 4 weeks ago, you'd be looking at a different mentality, wouldn't you, from both sides?
Yeah, and just touching on your point, Reece, I forgot to mention, but talking about your point of looking at Spurs players' effort, look at some of the clips we've seen this season on social media. Like, do you remember the one of Rashford recently of the so-called pressing? If you're watching that clip, like, you'd say that's match fixing. So
I'd say Casemiro's keeping Havertz on side.
Yeah,
that's match fixing.
That was falling.
15 yards away from his nearest player, roughly.
Yeah, that's 101.
That's match fixing. Let's get that in there.
But I do think obviously context comes into it. But there's no match fixing. There's no money being exchanged. There's no, this comes down to just mentality, like, and a different type of mentality. It's not, I want to win every game. It's a matter of, let's just not worry about this one. We're on the beach, boys. If anything, the fans will, if the miracle happens and Spurs do win, the fans will forget about it in a couple of weeks. That's just is what it is. It won't be held against them football, to be honest, because I think football
not forever. I think a few weeks is a bit generous. I think it will be on for all next season.
If Spurs win this game to win Arsenal the league,
or even a draw is enough for Arsenal. Got to remember this. It's not just Spurs winning, but if they do contribute to Arsenal winning the league by stopping us, then they're going to make a song about it, and they will sing it at least for the next season.
And I think
you'll hear about that for the next 20 years.
But football comes around full circle. Arsenal will then they'll do a Spurs a favour one day. That mentality will change. It will happen. Like I said, it's what goes around comes around in football, and it will change things if Spurs do lay back and they laugh. Something will come back to haunt them. Like I said, we took Sol Campbell from him last time. Who got the last laugh there? It's just one of those things. Football's dumb at the end of the day.
All right, well, look, let's move on to our actual predictions for this game. I'll kick things off. So I think despite everything we've said, City will and should be favourites, despite all the hype and all the talk. I think Spurs will, because of everything going on, Spurs will know they've got, regardless of the Liverpool, Spurs will know people are watching their effort and level here. So I think they will be able to score a goal, and I think they'll make it potentially a slightly interesting game. But I think City will win 3-1. That's the bottom line. But if Spurs scored first, I wouldn't be that surprised at all.
No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I'll tell you who will score for Spurs, and that'll be Son.
On a
Every
counter.
time he plays us, he will score. I think he has 100% shot to goal ratio against us. It's ridiculous how many times he scores. And that's why we kept a clean sheet in the FA Cup, because he was out injured. That just says it all, kind of thing. So I think they definitely will score. I'm going to go with a 2-1. But if he does play his high line, I'm going to go with it like 4. Because if we've got De Bruyne and Foden passing balls through to Haaland with a high line, he's going to get a ton of chances. So depends on the formation they play, but I'll stay 2-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is more.
I think we could be looking at a 4-0 here. 3-0, 4-0 City. I think first goal goes in, Spurs fans be a bit miffed, and then when the second goal goes in, they'll start to cheer. Which, again, it will not be a good PR look for Spurs. Let's make that clear. I think even though they say they won't care, that does rub off on players and other fans. And like I said, things change. People will go,
if
you know
did
what?
get to that sort of 4-0, sort of what you just said, Reece, and then let's say we scored a 5th, like this is all happy, go lucky. I'm being very optimistic, not thinking it's actually going to happen. Then Spurs fans would cheer, I think. Would cheer, and they'd join in with doing the Poznan.
I was going
if
to
it
say
went to like 5-0.
Yeah,
I think that would be the reaction where
Yeah.
But it's a bit of lightheartedness. You've got to take the mick at yourself because you've been totally outplayed, and then you can be like, "Sorry, Arsenal, we didn't help."
But this is it. It's like they can laugh and joke about it, but like I say, it won't look good. Not that they'll care, but those things do have consequences later down the line. But like I said, it's not an issue. Arsenal had their chance and they fluffed it against Villa. That is the main issue, and I think fans should be questioning that.
Yeah.
Than they should over this. This is what it is.
Yeah. There you go. Well, look, we've had our say, and now it's time to hear your say. Spurs fans, where do you stand on this? Arsenal fans, how do you feel? And obviously City fans as well. And West Ham fans, because West Ham, funnily enough, have been saying the same thing all day. They're happy to lose 9-0 because of all the Rice drama. But look, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill.